Both players playing orthodox. Don't know if that helps you out. This is a real 6-pointer.
I was really expecting amazing insight there, Harry. I was expecting like, this is going to be a decision.
It's 4-4-2.
But I mean, so far it looks like a 4-4-2, but I would expect them to change into a 4-3-3, which is what they're setting up at the moment. This is a real 6-pointer because obviously both these two at the top of the group at the moment. Obviously, DJIBRILLIANT has played an extra game over Christopher, but has that point advantage. So it's I don't want to say a must win for Christopher, but if he does win, that'll put him in a great standing going to the top of the table, and I think he's going to do it. I'm going with Christopher on this one.
Sounds good. Yeah, they both have a win under their belt, like you said. They're still going through the formations, but I'm going to actually do the same as you, Harry. I will say Christopher will have just enough to get the win.
Ricky, just talk us through quickly while the guys are going through their team selections. Obviously, the advanced instructions that they're adding in here. What sort of thing is this adding to the play styles?
I mean, there's many options here. We've got counter-attack, short pass, centre. A lot of them will play counter-attacking. Possession in this level is not going to get you anywhere. We'll see that gegenpress, as we know, Liverpool play it a lot. They push players forward, they close you down quickly. Obviously, you're vulnerable as well, because you play the gegenpress. It does mean if you go all out, a simple ball over the top, which you've seen time and time again, will put you under pressure. Deep defensive line, as we saw there, also used. So they try and stop that. So you can mix and match. Sometimes using too many sort of tactics will go against you. Once again, there, tick attack, a defensive, deep defensive line and counter target. So there's so many different options, and that's why PES is quite intriguing to watch, because if you get them wrong, sometimes it does pay, you know, the ultimate price.
Would you say that obviously teams playing tiki-taka, if you're coming up against a tiki-taka side, better to play a more compact defence to try and stop those little intricate passes around the box?
Yeah, definitely. That's why we see so many narrow players. In fact, sometimes we'll see instead of 4 at the back with 2 left, with a left back and a right back, they'll play 4 centre backs as opposed to having the wingers because they play so narrow.
Very, very interesting stuff indeed. So we've got our predictions from Harry and from Ricky, the true Brit himself. Gentlemen, Adam?
Well, I've got a lot to follow after 4 correct predictions, so the pressure's on.
Shows my elite mentality, they don't pay attention to
I'm
these things.
actually, thank you very much. It'll all go wrong from here. No, I'm going to actually, not just to be devil's advocate, I'm going to disagree with the guys over there in the other room, because I feel that Christopher PW has been playing a lot of co-op, and we've seen that throughout the other players who have been switching between the two, and they've taken a while to get into their groove. And he did win his first game, but you know, 4 points on the board for DJIBRILLIANT as well, and he's looked really, really impressive so far. So I'm going to go with that man there.
Wow, bold prediction. I'd have to say they've both played KAROLKING already in the group stage, and it was a convincing 3-0 for Christopher. And DJIBRILLIANT, he had a sloppy 1-1, I'd say. He could have also lost that game, so I have to feel that doesn't mean that it's black and white and he's now going to lose against Christopher, but I have to say Christopher, with all his experience, I feel like he's got a slight upper hand, so I'll go with Christopher.
Absolutely. Listen, at this stage, we've not seen a lot of these lads play, so it's just pure guesswork from Adam.
Come on. Right, 4 out of 4.
He's writing down his formulas all day long.
I am going to go with, I'm at this point, having not seen enough of either play, I'm going to pick this like I pick horses for the national, and try to find something that you can relate to in your life. I like the Jibril Cisse, and as such, I will go with DJIBRILLIANT as my pick. Are we doing that live, really? That was
we've just done it live.
That was a potential pitfall that we've just about managed to
well-informed opinion right there.
High five. Thank you very much,
It was a bit wet, wasn't it?
Scientifically explained.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, why not? Why not indeed? Yeah, right, gentlemen, over to you in our casting booth. Let's get this game underway.
Well, thank you, Paul. Yeah, we are ready. We're back. Me and Harry back on the hot seat. So we're ready for this one. We saw plenty of goals in the opening 2 games, of course, that we did. Not close. It was, I think, 5-0 and, 6-1. So it was, yeah. Well, what do you feel this one? You feel it's going to be a tighter affair?
Yeah, we've yet to see a close contest just yet. I think this one probably will be more of the same, to be honest with you. Based on purely how quickly DJIBRILLIANT was able to set up his team. He hasn't changed anything. He hasn't got different game plans in terms of moving from attack formations to defensive formations. Watching Christopher set up his team after we swapped off of the formation screen back to our wonderful faces, he actually swapped his attacking formation and his defensive formations up. So he's playing a 4-4-2 when he has the ball, but if he doesn't have the ball, he goes back to that 4-3-3 that we're so used to seeing, with that front three ready to counter-attack as soon as he grabs the ball. So I think that kind of in-depth look in terms of a game plan, obviously haven't had a chance to see either of these guys play yet here today, so I don't know form-wise how they're playing. But based on that alone, I think it's fair to say that Christopher certainly has a greater idea of how he wants to play the game and how he plans on counter-attacking his opponent DJIBRILLIANT in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, looking at the two, Christopher's only played the one match so far, and he did win that 3-0. DJIBRILLIANT has played 2 matches with 1 win, 1 draw, so he's got 4 points. And you say, looking at yesterday, if you're going to get 9-10 points, it may be enough to advance you into the knockout stages, because obviously there's the top 2 that do go through.
Yeah, and that's why this is a close affair, because these two are so close as it stands in the group table. This could be a match where we look back at the end of the groups as might decide one of these two's fate come the end of the group, and who makes it to the knockouts and who doesn't. So for that reason alone, it might be very, very, I don't want to say cagey, because we use that word so often. It could be tight, it could be a bit of a nervy affair, but to be honest with you, I think we're going to see some goals, and I think they're all going to come from Christopher.
Yeah, so we're underway, of course. I don't know if there's something going on here at the moment, but we have the DJIBRILLIANT on your left-hand side.
Looks like a pause was queued up, so whether he's just trying to make sure that everyone is...
I think we are having some technical difficulties, as you can never quite get these things to go 100% perfect. But yeah, as you touched upon, it will be interesting to see how they both start. I think today's match will be a little bit more close. I think it will be a closer game. These are very two similar style, similar age. And also actually touching upon this, that Christopher's actually from Portugal. He didn't have to travel a whole lot, whereas obviously DJIBRILLIANT's Greek, a bit more traveling there. Do you think that could come into play?
It could well do. I mean, on the other side, it could be a case of Christopher feeling like he has pressure on his shoulders to perform in his home country. We saw that back in Liverpool, the English or British contingent, I should say, really not turning up to the party and feeling the pressure of their home nation and the pressure to perform. So that could weigh on Christopher's shoulders. I think he's an experienced professional, though. I'm thinking that he probably will be able to cope with that sort of adversity. I mean, when you look at his accolades, like he was in season 1 in the regional finals, has attended plenty of events in across Europe recently, and has a lot of experience behind him. So I feel like at that stage, you know, in your career, when you are that far into your career and you've played that many tournaments, that sort of thing doesn't bother you as much, especially when you have a range of competitions behind you, like the 2 versus 2.
Yeah, once you get to this level, once you get to so many events, it just becomes second nature. We're actually going to have to restart this matchup, so you're going to have to listen to us harp on for a little bit longer here before we do actually get into the gameplay.
That's fine, though. I feel like everyone here would rather see a nice balanced environment, making sure that absolutely everything is tickety-boo, it's on the money, making sure we don't have to restart, and making sure competitive integrity is at its finest. I'm sure everyone will allow us that amount of time just to make sure that everything's in working order.
Yeah, I mean, DJIBRILLIANT did actually qualify as well through my club, which is rather interesting. So don't believe he played anywhere near as many games as Christopher had to play. His overall record was 81 wins. He had 8 draws. He had 11 defeats. Did score 380 goals, but he did concede quite a few there, though, 137. So do you think that could be a sign that maybe defensively he's not as strong as maybe he could be?
Yeah, potentially. Potentially that's something we could read into. I mean, he did have a few tournaments behind him himself. We speak about Christopher, the Portuguese man on the stage, being one of those experienced players with a lot of tournaments behind him. I mean, DJIBRILLIANT has been competing since 2014. I mean, he was the Greek champion in 2014, was a world final attendee in both 2014 and 2016. So even getting to the last 16 in 2014 as well. So this is a man who has faced competition in the past as well, and he is surely going to be no stranger to this kind of environment. So I think it's easy to write off that potentially being a factor in this one.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there as well. We're going through the formations again. You guys can't see that on your screen, but they're getting this underway very, very shortly. They're both going for Arsenal once again. We talk about that a lot, don't we? Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal. We just seem that they are a very, very good team to choose. Let's talk about stat balancing while we're waiting here, Harry. Could you kind of, for our viewers, tell them how does that work exactly?
So essentially, every team in PES, when you're playing at home, when you're playing your standard gameplay, every player's got their own attributes, got their own individual statistics. In this kind of tournament, in this environment, everyone has the same statistics. It's balanced across the board. Players have been nerfed, players have been buffed, so that everyone's on a level playing field. For that reason, you'll see teams start to use one team which has physical attributes, like the tall players of Arsenal. That's why we see so much of Arsenal, because their players are naturally taller than other teams, and obviously players have their own personal preference. We've seen some teams use, some players use teams like Liverpool. We've even seen in other tournaments some Barcelona, some PSGs used, but most players favouring the team of Arsenal because of that height advantage, and you'll see that a lot throughout the PES League as certainly the favoured team.
Absolutely, and we've got a really early start here, and what a save that is off the line. 3 minutes in, and it was DJIBRILLIANT there. He's attacking from your left to right in the home strip. Christopher from right to left in the away. What a let-off that would have been. A dream start to go and score in the opening few seconds here. A lively one at the very minimum. Here's a chance now for Maitland-Niles. Back inside. Aubameyang found a little bit of space, but it comes back to Leno. He's actually starting in this one. We haven't seen too much of him. We saw some spectacular saves by him yesterday in the co-ops. And here is a chance now for Danny Welbeck. Lovely turn by Lacazette, but Harry missing the target.
Yeah, nice little turn. Just before that, if Aubameyang gets a better first touch, that means it's Christopher on the attack, and potentially a better opportunity to score a goal. A very quick start though, not even 10 minutes gone in game, and really good clear-cut chances for both players. This one could be a fiery affair. Elsewhere, I think I saw that USMAKABYLE is actually losing 3-1 as it stands. You'll see the scores from other games around the PES League here in Porto pop up on your screen time and time again as goals fly in and as updates come from the floor, but right now the focus is on these two players.
Yeah, lovely ball through the middle there. There is a look at the top goal scorers for you as well. Alex Agassiz, the two Spaniards actually both leading the way with 8 goals apiece. They really are on fire in that group. They will be the favourites, no doubt, to qualify into the quarter-finals. With 13 minutes played, it's 0-0 still, but it could be 1-1 with the attempts that we've had on goal, and it looks like Christopher's just slowing the game down ever so slightly. A lovely switch play out wide to find Hector Bellerin, inside to find Torreira. Aubameyang laying it forward to Lacazette, but he got dispossessed. This looks like it could be a more of a possession type game, the way these two are playing, which is often nice to see as well. Different style of play. Aubameyang, there's a nice bit of football, but losing possession. Torreira, of course, as I said before, you'd probably say if you get about 9 or so points in this level, it will be enough to put you through. Harry, do you think they need, maybe 3 wins?
Yeah, I would say around 8 or 9 points is certainly going to be enough. You can see there the update was 3-1, now 3-2, so the Frenchman clawing himself back into that one. I would say that's around the tally you're looking towards. Maybe 7 or 9 points should, in theory, be good enough. But makes sense for Christopher here to play a bit more of a passing and possession game. You saw in the top scorers, his opponent here, DJIBRILLIANT, is actually within the top 5 scorers throughout the PES League so far here in the group stages in Porto. So playing possession, making sure you're switching the play quite a lot, making a lot of space for yourself really prevents and takes the sting out of DJIBRILLIANT's attack.
Definitely, and this ball over the top could be the first real clinical chance, but he's taking it a little bit wider than he wanted to, but he does peel it back. Oh. And he just couldn't find the far post. I thought he took this the wrong way, but that's really all he could do, and he did very well just to conjure up half a chance. Petacek was millimetres away there from conceding the first goal of this matchup. 60% possession, as you can see, for Christopher so far. And it's certainly been a slower pace game. It's not been the most lively that we have seen, but I think that's generally the style of play between these two players.
Yeah, it started off quite quickly, didn't it? But both players just settling into this affair. 30 minutes odd gone now in game, and that game elsewhere, I'm looking at USMAKABYLE as a game that he really needs to win, just sitting on the 3 points in Group B at the moment. So if he can claw himself back into that one, as it looked like he was, then that's going to obviously help him out. He has only played the one game, that would be his second, so looking to make it the maximum amount of points possible.
Yeah, he had a really good start, of course, winning 5-0 in that opening one with 5 in the second half. But now the play continues. It's a little bit feisty, and the final third here. Here's Ramsey towards Bellerin. Christopher just trying to open up a chance. Bellerin again, that's a great ball over. What a cheeky flick that was, and there's your first goal. Christopher draws first blood, and it's taken around, I'm not sure, we haven't got a clock up, but I'll say around 30-odd minutes. 1-0.
And it's a great goal as well. You can see JIBRILLIANT
not happy.
Not happy, might feel a little hard done by, and to be honest with you, I'm not surprised. Christopher, I think, deserves the goal. As we see, the Dominator tied things up with Matador getting a goal back, but he does so well. I'm thinking this flick from Aubameyang maybe a little bit unnecessary, and that's why you see JIBRILLIANT shaking his head, because he feels his defender maybe could have done better there, just stumbles at a crucial moment. But it's a lovely back heel flick, and I thought maybe at that point he'd overplayed it, but fortune favours the bold, and it is Christopher who opens the scoring.
Yeah, it's split-second stuff. It really is. I mean, you've got to have the mindset when you play in these types of games. You've got to almost, like they said in the studio, and that's a late challenge, maybe the first booking of the game as well. Yeah, it's going to be a yellow card for Lacazette. But as I said in the studio, it's you've always got to think ahead, almost like playing a game of chess. Players have got to make the runs off the ball. If there's not enough movement, you're not going to create those chances. And now is a chance for JIBRILLIANT as he tries to work it forward and get an instant reply. And it's come off the post. We're talking fractions from getting back to 1-1, and instead it's still 1-0. Another chance. This time Christopher maybe just get it out at this point, but he's going to try and walk it out the back. Aubameyang slowing the game down. Maitland-Niles. It's quite fascinating, and we watched Alex earlier, how fast he was, and it's just different style of play here between these two players. Maitland-Niles again. Back to Torreira. Well, he has the advantage, so for him, why not keep possession? Wear down the opposition. Swung round the other way. Kolasinac now, bit of time and space. Danny Welbeck. Still going up the line. Lacazette could possibly feed this on. He tried to, but Socrates did well. And now a chance to counter possibly down the right-hand side. A lovely ball over the top. Can he get it down? Yes, he can. Aubameyang, he's always in the thick of things, and it looks like that's half-time, Harry.
Yeah, some good chances there after conceding from JIBRILLIANT, and unfortunately for him, it's not going his way, or didn't go his way in the first half, and he's going to be hoping for a little bit more fortune in the second half of this game as he trails 1-0 into the break. I think I saw INDOMINATOR there actually turn around that scoreline from 1-0 now 2-1 in his favour, and also USMAKABYLE, the French superstar from AS Monaco, from 3-1 down was 3-3. The last update I saw, and we'll obviously keep you guys informed as long as those matches keep going on elsewhere here in the PES League.
Yeah, got Merriman 2 as well, Carroll 2, so we had a lot of 2-2 draws yesterday. If you joined us, of course, there was plenty of them, and this is a really good start here for Christopher down the right-hand side. Tried to just drill it in. You see that time and time again, because a tap-in is always the easiest way to score. Could we have another yellow card here, possibly? We do. Hector Bellerin goes into the book. So Christopher now attacking left to right in the blue strip. JIBRILLIANT has switched to the other side with the home red. Still only 1-0. And honestly, looking at this match, it could be a single goal could win this. There has not been an abundance of chances. Here's a chance for Lacazette. Saying that, that's a peach of a pass, but it was just the cute angle. Harry tried to poke it, maybe open his body up there.
Yeah, maybe predicting some manual goalkeeping coming in from Christopher. It's a well-worked long ball, though. Great vision to find it. Maybe if Aubameyang there goes far post, maybe opens his body up, maybe he gets himself a goal. But I think Christopher there did well. His goalkeeper certainly did well to prevent a goal.
Yeah, passes completed as well, 83-82. So they've been dead even. And that header, once again, we're talking fractions, rose well, but couldn't find the frame. And those are the chances. It's almost a bit of luck at times that you need. Some sort of a deflection. We've seen it time and time again where defensive errors happen. See Christopher just, he loves to slow the game down. He's a very casual player. It is nice to see though, but he's worked that really well. But that should be the keepers, and it is Leno's all day.
There's been a couple of chances for DJIBRILLIANT so far where it's just skimmed a couple of inches past the post, and another game, maybe on any other day, you see that nestle in the back of the net, but just needs a little bit of fortune to go his way. You feel like DJIBRILLIANT, he is knocking on the door, but Christopher is not answering just yet, and once again just calming down the pace, making sure he doesn't make any mistakes. Complete professional performance so far here from Christopher, and he is just slowly killing the momentum of DJIBRILLIANT and slowing down the game.
Yeah, he is, and once again he's working this over the top. I don't know, at this point I'm not quite sure if DJIBRILLIANT is playing the gegenpress. We saw it before. If he isn't, I would go for it right now. He's given him so much space at the back to literally pass it from left to right, and it is infuriating when you don't have the ball. We've all played online, and we all want as much possession as possible. So I do think he's got to make some sort of a tactical change here. We're both sitting here having a watch and seeing what exactly they're going to do, and they're both playing that sort of 4-4-2, which is actually the first time we've seen a 4-4-2, I think, in both favours. Normally it is that 4-3-3.
Yeah, don't forget it's Christopher rocking that as well, 4-3-3, more of a standard formation when he doesn't have the ball, setting himself up for those counter-attacks. So when he has the ball, it is that 4-4-2, as you're saying, almost a 4-2-2 with those two wingers supplementing the two strikers. But when Christopher is out of possession, he's setting himself up for a counter-attack, which often he hasn't even tried to use. He's just slowing the game down, making sure his men can get forward and going for that more standard 4-2-2.
Yeah, absolutely. And the ball is played on the edge of the box. It was a good idea, but now they have got a few numbers forward with a chance for Mr. Danny Welbeck. And there's his use of pace down the right-hand side. Lays it inside to Dozy, but it was another challenge. We've had a few yellows here, so they've got to be careful they don't get sent off. Koscielny goes into the book, but he's going to summon with the first yellow card for him.
Just confirmation on that result from elsewhere, and Dominator completing the comeback.
That's a big
win.
win.
Get himself 3 points on the board against El Matador, a player that we've been keeping our eyes on, and surely that's a great bounce-back performance from the Dutchman, who's been highly touted. He had a bit of a rough start earlier on today against USMAKABYLE, and he's a player that, again, so many people have high hopes for, and yesterday started off very slow as well, and it's good to see him get 3 points on the board, and hopefully he can bounce from that and get himself out of that really tough group.
Definitely, and there's a look at USMAKABYLE now 4-3 up. The comeback that is by him. I think it was 3-1 down at one point. Yeah. Unbelievable stuff there. But yeah, a lot of these players, some of them, they do start off slow, and then when it gets to the second, third, fourth game is when they really step it up. Now, of course, losing the first game isn't always the worst thing. Is a chance, the ball's delivered in, but it's comfortable for Petr Cech. But that's the beauty about these tournaments, is just watching the level, and that's a bit of a poor place to lose possession there. Could it cost them? No, because the header was a tidy one back to Cech himself.
It's the exact kind of mistake that Christopher's been trying to prevent by playing out to his fullbacks and switching the play like he is right there. He doesn't want to give the ball high up the pitch to DJIBRILLIANT. He knows the goal-scoring form that the Greek man has been in so far this tournament, one of the top 5 goal scorers throughout the group stages. Doesn't want to feed him anything.
No, absolutely not. We've got some lovely interplay here. DJIBRILLIANT with a strike, and it's in! It's a blistering pile driver into the far corner. We're back level at 1 apiece, and it's Danny Welbeck. Well, could he have struck that any cleaner, Harry?
It was a sweet shot.
What a rocket.
An absolute rocket. I can't wait to see this one again. You can see the passion from DJIBRILLIANT on your screens. He knows what that goal means after coming so close in the first half, just not having the rub of the green. This one, there's no doubts about this one. No luck involved. Beautiful play, great interplay. You think maybe he completes the 3-4 of the 1-2, but no, I think it was Welbeck's weaker right foot. Rockets that into the back of the net. Lovely interplay and a great finish.
Yeah, it's a great strike, and that was Arsenal of the old with the old interplay. 1-2, 1-2, back of the net. And that could open up the doors here a little bit more, because Christopher's been playing quite passive. Honestly, if I was playing PES, that's how I would play. He's literally playing exactly how I play online. I try and keep the ball and I work it forward. It's just this completely different style to other players. But now, as you can see, we've got a couple more tactical changes. JIBRILLIANT is actually using fluid formation, as you can see with the 3 dots at the right-hand side, which means he changes according to if he has possession, doesn't have possession, and at kickoff, the players all change accordingly. You can play a 4-3-3, then you can change a 4-4-2.
I think that's Christopher, actually.
That's how it works. Is that Christopher?
Yeah, I think the 2 sides have swapped, obviously, at half-time, so the graphics at the moment not representing who they are. There you go. They're swapped around. Thank you very much, production. Appreciate it.
Perfect.
Yeah, this is...
So Christopher's playing that.
Yeah.
There we go.
And that's something that he used very well in the first half, if you remember, to counter-attack for his goal and use that fluid formation when out of possession to make sure his players stay up the pitch and have that almost trio up front staying up there and having the 2 central midfielders behind him.
Yeah. Well, we are winding down the clock. 1-1. It really could go anywhere at this point. This is a very, very close game. There hasn't been a ton of chances, but a win for either would be very, very vital at this point. They both, of course, have 3 points at least. JIBRILLIANT has 4. He's played also an extra game. And we have got 22 minutes left, of course, plus stoppage time, as Christopher now gets underway for the final time over. The ball over the top is a good idea. It's come back towards Aubameyang. It's a good challenge there by Guendouzi. And now it's a bit of a late challenge as well. We've seen a couple of those today, Harry. It's been quite a physical game.
Yeah, it has. Mostly coming from Christopher, as we see a full-time result then pop up on your screen.
It's a big win.
Christopher has been trying to prevent the counter-attack of JIBRILLIANT by fouling him early.
He has, and here's another chance. It was saved off the line there by Czech. That's why you pay them the big bucks. Brilliant stop. Otherwise, that was 2-1. They take the lead again, but now here comes a chance for JIBRILLIANT down the right-hand side, but dispossessed with the pass. And Koscielny will tidy up and start again with Kolasinac.
So a couple of great saves, Ricky, if you remember. In the first 3 minutes or so of the game, Christopher's better check in goal, defending that front post and once again coming to his rescue.
Yeah, and what a chance we have now down the right-hand side, but he just, I think he held down the old analog stick a little bit too long. He did have options through the middle. Does he opt to lay this square? He could have, but he didn't, and he's missed a golden chance there.
Well, we've seen the good and the bad from Welbeck's right foot, the good for JIBRILLIANT's goal and the bad right there for that chance from Christopher. His weak foot definitely looking weak there.
Yeah, it was a poor chance in the end though, but a good chance. He created it well, just needs to put it away. And here he comes again now with Aubameyang. Ball over the top, a key ball as well, but it's a good tidy header back, and there's another header into the arms of Leno. We have less than 10 minutes to spare, and right now you'd probably say a 1-1's a pretty even result, just cancelling each other out. Great play by Saka here down the left-hand side. Deflection has fallen kindly. Guendouzi, Maitland-Niles. This is a chance here because you've got players forward. If they could possibly lay this back, will he keep it on? Yes, he will, but it was a loose cross.
It's a dodgy touch as well, and
there's another one.
I was going to say that could open up Christopher for the counter, but he's lost it again.
He has, and now it's getting a little bit scrappy. Maybe the palms are getting sweaty. 87 minutes gone. This could be the winner, but it's just wide of the post again. So many of those, and he's furious with himself.
I can't believe it.
It was literally less than a foot. It comes off the post, and he could have been having the 3 points.
That's a third solid opportunity. Not even counting his goal there for JIBRILLIANT, and you can understand why he's incensed. He's just hoping his players would stick at least one of them in the back of the net, and a reminder what this match would mean for the complexion of the group table. JIBRILLIANT, I believe, on 4 points at the moment. Christopher, having only played the one game, on 3 points, won his first match. So at the top of his group, you would say this is as we said before the game, a real 6-pointer to leapfrog your opponent potentially.
Yeah, this is one of those groups where no one's going to, if this carries on, no one's going to have won their first opening 2 games, which will make it very, very open. We have some very close groups, of course, and this is another one. We've got 3 minutes to spare. Would you say they'd be happy with a point now, Harry, with only a couple minutes left? Don't risk it?
Maybe. Obviously, both these teams, I think, will, or both these players, I should say, will go for the counter and try and hit the crucial goal, the crucial strike. And you can see right now Jibrillant's just trying to kill off the rest of these 3 minutes and then go for the attack, making sure he has the final say in this match.
Yeah, but he's given it away sloppily. And now here's Iwobi, a bit of space out wide for Aubameyang. He's got players in the box. This is going to be the final throw of the dice. Iwobi again. Got to make the most of it. I'm sure the referee's not going to play too much more than the added 3 minutes. Iwobi again, ball over the top. Aubameyang lays it across, and that will be, I think, is that a free kick or what's happened there? A clash of 2 players, yeah.
He's giving it against Christopher.
Sorry, yeah, Kolasinac has actually got the foul himself. So that is going to be it. It has going to finish 1